Yes, I am the tax man in this segment. Every segment, I'm the tax man. This is the IRS Radio Hour here. Welcome back. We're having lots of fun today.
On AM 560,
The answer. That's Jim Leahy, and we're here with Deborah Schreiner, and she's our technical producer. And again, we're having lots of fun. And this is our segment of the Mr. Know-It-All segment.
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, Mr. Know-It-All, ladies and gentlemen, the segment where Attorney Stephen Leahy answers listener questions so that you, the public, can be informed. How can you sign into this, may I ask? Or may you ask? You can either go on to ChicagoTaxTeam.com. You can go on to YouTube. You can go on to Facebook during the live streams or WatchTalkRadio.com. There are multiple avenues and multiple ways of making sure that your question is answered. Ask away.
What's our new joint, Jim? What's it?
Watch
Vimeo.
Vimeo.
Yeah.
Vimeo.
Vimeo. We're on that too. We're on Vimeo.
So what's the question this week, Attorney Stephen?
Well, that's a very good. That is itself is a very good question, Jim. And so here's one of the most common questions that I get from people is, okay, and it's also a driver of why people come to see me in the first place. One of the things that people get is they get a lot of ads from the IRS, and then they come to see me. By ads, I mean notices. They start taking their money at the job, or they take their money from their bank account, and then that's what gets them to come to me. But another thing that gets people to start solving their IRS problem, because again, most of these IRS problems linger for some time before someone starts to resolve it. I get a lot of this that people, I'm getting married. And I have this big tax problem that I've been carrying around for all these years, and I'm concerned if I get married, will that affect my new spouse? Will they come after my new spouse then?
We've asked this question before.
Have we?
Yes, and you know how I know that? Because I went to our YouTube channel, Stephen Leahy, and I was able to watch that segment. Okay. You like how I push that in there?
I do like.
Anyway, I do apologize. Please answer the question.
Okay, so the question is. And also, the question this last week was she's getting married. She has tax issues, hasn't filed for some years, also has a lot of debt issues. And so she's like, well, if I get married, can they come after? Can they go after my spouse for all of these debts now that we're married? Aren't they his debts now too? And the short answer is no, not here in Illinois. In Illinois, we're not a community property state, and so that they can't go after your spouse for your personal debt. You only go after the person who signed. So, for instance, when I file a joint tax return, we're married, and I file a joint tax return, then I am liable for that tax. However, if we filed separately or before we were married, and I have this debt, then no, my spouse won't owe that money. Now, it might make a difference on how much I have to repay the IRS because they're going to use. Because your spouse is helping you pay some of the bills, and that's going to free up some of your money in order to pay the IRS whatever you owe them, okay? Because a lot of times we can make it based on what your disposable income is. And remember now, disposable income is defined as what my income is, less any reasonable and necessary expenses. That was what the product there is called is called disposable income, and that's what we fight for you to pay the IRS and make it something that's reasonable, that's not going to interfere with your lifestyle. Now, sometimes the IRS says, well, your lifestyle's too extravagant, and we're not going to let you live in a big home.
Caviar, shrimp?
Exactly.
No.
And they're not going to let you drive a really nice car, and they're not, because you owe taxes, and they think that they don't allow that kind of thing. Now, sometimes we have to fight it because that's my mortgage now. How am I going to stop paying my mortgage? If I pay you, how am I going to pay my mortgage? So sometimes the IRS will give you some time to get out, maybe sell your home, maybe try to rearrange your expenses to lower that so you can do what they call a step plan, where I'm going to pay for a year, maybe 2 years, I'm going to pay one amount, and then after that they want you to start paying a lot more. And so sometimes, and what happens a lot is that by that time that comes up, I'm not in a position I can't pay more then either. So then we have to go back and work with the IRS again. So this happens. But remember, solving an IRS problem is not usually a short-term obligation. It takes a long time because oftentimes you're going to owe some money that you can't. Because if you could just write them a check and pay the IRS, you probably don't have an IRS problem, right? although that does happen because people don't file their tax returns. But once you file the tax returns, and I've had people who come to see me haven't filed their tax returns in 7 or 8 years, and they have enough money that when they file their tax returns, whatever they owe, they write a check and pay them. But most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, people need some sort of time, a length of time to pay the IRS the money that they owe. So that's this installment agreements. And we try to come up with enough to make it low enough that it won't affect your lifestyle very much. Anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. That was a very short, sweet, and to-the-point answer, like a lot of answers that Open Tax Resolution gives. If you have a question and would like it aired on the show, there are multiple avenues of doing this. I've stated at the beginning of the segment, and I'll tell you right now. Go to Facebook. You can go to YouTube. You can go to WatchTalkRadio.com. You can go to Open Tax Resolution. You can call Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649. You can go to ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. There are ways of getting your question answered. Do not fall in the trap that many others do. Open Tax Resolutions here for you. I'm Jim Leahy with That Properties, 847-271-3695. Let's start thinking about tomorrow. Today. And ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to our sponsors and come right back on AM 560. The Answer.